What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of my hip hop review. This was not really intentional and stuff like that. I wasn't really planning on doing this review at this time. It's the Beastie Boys' License to Ill. Ironically, because I did a Kamikaze Monday, I just did Beastie Boys and shit. But I just thought I would do a much better. I just thought I'd do a much better album and stuff like that. Yeah, I finally can control this with my phone now, so I don't have to keep getting up to turn the volume up and down and shit. But yeah, Beastie Boys. What can you say about the Beastie Boys? One of the most innovative hip hop groups of all time. I always consider them to be kind of like underdogs in a way. I don't know why, but it's like people never really expected them to stay as long as they did. They were a group that had to fight for their respect and stuff like that. I mean, people weren't really taking white rappers seriously, but they paved the way for not just a lot of white rappers, but a lot of like hip hop artists as well and shit like that. But yeah, we're gonna take it back to 1979, where the Beastie Boys, the original members of Beastie Boys were MCA, Ad Rock, and Mike D. But Beastie Boys they were originally a hardcore punk band that went by the Young. Scratching. But yeah, the Young Aborigines and shit like that. And they had other members like this guy named John Barry on guitar and Kate Schillenbach on drums. Yeah, man. So what ended up happening was, they will soon like change their names to the Beastie Boys by the time like 1981 happened, and they had dropped some material. And stuff like that as a hardcore punk band, but it's kind of like very hard to come by, to say the least. But what ended up happening back in '82 was Fred Berry, he left the group, and he was replaced by Ad Rock. He was replaced by Ad Rock, and so that's when the Beastie Boys kind of became like a triple: Mike D, MCA, Ad Rock, and they transitioned to hip hop. And so their first hip hop song was a song called Cookie Puss and shit like that. That caught a lot of underground fame for them and shit. And what ended up happening after that song was it caught the attention of Rick Rubin. And Rick Rubin at that time, he was forming Def Jam Records, and him and Russell liked what they heard from the Beasties, and that's when they really made it transition from punk rock to hip hop, basically. And so they dropped the 12-inch single Rock Hard in '84, but what really brought them into popularity was when they were a supporting act for Madonna in her Version tour back in '85 and shit like that. And also what else? Oh yeah, also with that, they also appeared on the Crush Groove soundtrack and the Raising Hell tour with Run DMC, LL Cool J, Houdini and shit. And so majority 86, they recorded and released this album. Alright. So the album cover you see here, according to Rick Rubin, he was influenced by Led Zeppelin, very familiar with Led Zeppelin, and we can really tell because their first album, it had that Hillenburg shit. So basically, just paying homage and shit, and then you had the shit crashing. Yeah. I cannot wait to review like a lot of future Beastie Boys albums. This is gonna be an interesting analysis. Yeah, so you have the members right here. You got MCA, you got Ad Rock, and you got Mike D and shit like that. Yeah. Alright. Sorry about that, but 13 songs. Singles albums known for are Hold It Now, Hit It, Paul Revere, The New Style, You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party, Brass Monkey, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, and Girls. And the producers include Rick Rubin and the Beastie Boys. And yeah. Alright, 13 songs. You guys know what I'm about to do. Track number 1, Rhyming and Stealing. That's a pretty ill song right there. That song basically, it uses that famous Led Zeppelin sample, that drum sample, and shit like that. Yeah, man, very dope. It's a very dope song. That's when we begin the album. Track number 2, The New Style. Yeah, that's a very cool song as well. One of the most quoted hip hop songs that's been sampled by hella people, not just hip hop, but people outside of hip hop as well. Most notably on Far Side, definitely flipped this sample and shit. I felt like MCA definitely stole the show. He definitely stole the show with that song and stuff like that because of the fact, you know, I always liked his voice. It had like a very grimy tone towards that shit, you know. So, track number 3, She's Crafty. This song uses yet another Led Zeppelin sample and shit, but it's kind of crazy how like a lot of lenient laws of sampling was happening back in the 80s and shit. And I'm gonna talk more about that when I review Paul's Boutique. I want to do that next week. I hope I do that shit next week. Well, She's Crafty, basically, it tells a story about this girl who sleeps with people, but then she steals shit from them and stuff like that, basically. And another thing I want to say is like, this is an example of how the Beastie Boys would play off one another when they're rapping and shit. Like, the way they were progressing one another when rapping, how they'll just jump into this, that, how Ad Rock would just say some shit, the MCA will quickly follow up, and it would just still all be on flow and shit. Like, that was very dope song. Track number 4, Posse in Effect. What I got from that song was them, you know, just introducing themselves and stuff like that, you know, it kind of, if you guys have heard Wu-Tang Clan in the Front, kind of reminds you of that, just introducing themselves, you know. Track number 5, Slow Ride. Oh shit. Yeah, that's a pretty cool song. That beat, the beat is very like, how can I put, like, very like bass worthy and shit like that. It's just a song about guns, to be real, a song about guns and shit. So yeah. Track number 6, Girls. Yeah, that's a pretty funny song. It's a corny song, but at the same time, it's a fun song, and it's a song where I've kind of read that the Beastie Boys were not really liking it, didn't really like this song, and this is one of the only songs where they never performed the song live. It's talking about how their feelings towards women and shit, like girls, dun 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 dun, dun, all I really like that. It has like a very like that happy dappy beat kinda. Like I said, it's a corny song, but it's not bad corny. It's you'll get a laugh from it. Track number 7, Fight for Your Right. Oh yeah, this is like one of their most signature songs. With Fight for Your Right to Party, that song, you know, is basically a satire of, you know, the party theme songs of that time, basically. And yeah, because, you know, back in the 80s, especially like when the MTV generation was rising up, you know, a lot of videos, especially from pop and heavy metal, they would have like a music video about throwing a party or some shit, you know, throwing a party to some shit, and the Beastie Boys, they just take that and just made fun of it and shit, you know. The video, everyone knows about that video and shit. Yeah, very cool song. Track number 8, No Sleep Till Brooklyn. That song features Kerry King, who's a guitarist of Slayer. It's kind of crazy too, because while he was working on, Rick Rubin was working on License to Ill, he was producing Slayer's Rain and Blood album and shit, which I've heard the album, but it's been a while since I peeped it and shit. And yeah, man, it's kind of crazy because Slayer was signed to Def Jam under Geffen and shit. So yeah, that was kind of interesting though. But yeah, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, very dope song. It's basically like an ode to basically Brooklyn, and just like has that New York feel to it, you know. Cool song, love it. Track number 9, Paul Revere. Now, I know a lot of people say that this is probably the best song off this album, which I'm not gonna like this week, because this is a song I love too. But one song I felt like is my favorite. Basically, it tells like a very fictional story about how they met, but it kind of involved after they were recording in the studio, and they left the recording studio and they witnessed Run D.M.C, and I think he was coming up, he was running down the street screaming, trying to get the Beastie Boys' attention, and he was like, here's a little story I got to tell. And that's when the Beastie Boys, they picked up from that, and the rest is history. Like, very dope song. Nice usage of the 808 drum machine and shit. And just the flow, the lyrics that we're doing, like, now here's a little story I've got to tell about 3 bad brothers you know so well. It started way back in history with Ad Rock, MCA, and me, Mike D. Ben had a little horsey named Paul Revere. Just me and a horsey and a quart of beer. Riding across the land, kicking up stand, sheriff's posse on my tail, 'cause I'm in demand. Now I got a gun, you got the brew. This is verse 3, by the way. Now you got 2 choices from what you can do. It's not a tough decision, as you can see. I can blow you away, or you can ride with me. I said I'll ride with you if you can get with me to the border. The sheriff's after me for what I did to his daughter. I did it like this, I did it like that. I did it with the rifle ball bat. Like, excuse me. But yeah, man, like, that right there is just like fucking dope. Just the way they were flowing when that song, just kept the listener engaged with that story and shit. Yeah, very dope song. Love this song. Track number 10, Hold It Now, Hit It. This is probably my favorite song off this album. Surprisingly. For one, it's just another part of this album that makes the album unique. Just having fun. Them having fun being themselves and shit. Yeah, man, like, dope usage of the Jimmy Castor sample and shit like that. Yeah, very cool song. Track number 11, Brass Monkey. Everyone knows that song, that beat, that dun 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 dun. Yeah, very interesting song. For those of you who don't know, Brass Monkey is actually the name of an alcoholic drink and shit like that. So yeah. Track number 12, Slow and Low. That's a pretty interesting song, because that song is actually a cover of the Run DMC song of the same name, but it was like a demo. It was a demo that they had done for King of Rock, which I believe I mentioned it at the King of Rock review. If not, here it is. So yeah, that song was pretty alright. And track number 13, Time to Get Ill. Yeah, that was pretty sweet too. Yeah, that's all the songs off this album. Overall, this is actually a pretty dope album. It's a pretty good album. It's not. It's not as. It's not as classic as like their future releases. And don't get me wrong, there's some songs where I kind of be like, but they were still trying to find their sound. And at the same time, it's not to be taken seriously. It's like a party album, basically. Like, but yeah, very good album. Rick Rubin definitely stepped his game up with the production, with the whole rap rock production and shit he was doing. Yeah. And if you think like the sampling was crazy with this album, you haven't seen nothing yet, basically. So yeah, License to Ill, 1986. Trying to figure out what else I have. Oh, one more. Yeah, so this album was very successful. It was the first rap album to top the Billboard album chart and one of Columbia Records' fastest selling debut albums, and it eventually went diamond. So that's saying a lot. Yeah, and the original title of this album was supposed to have been called "Don't Be a Faggot," but of course, you know, Columbia Records, they had like a lot of problems with that because they were trying to accuse the band of being homophobic. So the Beastie Boys actually had to apologize to the head of Columbia Records. Crazy, but yeah. Oh, okay. And one more. Actually, two things I want to mention, basically. First of all, I want to say, rest in peace to James Ingram. He is a very famous soul singer, prominent in the 80s and the 90s. He was best known for working with Quincy Jones. You know, if you guys have the Dude album, very dope album, by the way. It's a classic album in my opinion. He does songs like Just Once and 100 Ways. Also, he done duets with people like Anita Baker, Donna Summer, Linda Ronstadt, Patty Austin. Helped co-write the Pretty Young Thing song from Michael Jackson, you know. Yeah, he's a very influential cat in R&B and shit like that. Died of brain cancer. That shit's crazy. And I also want to say, Jussie Smollett, keep your head up. Keep your head up, by the way. In case you guys don't know, it's been reported that Monday morning that he was attacked by some Trump supporters, basically, because, you know, and they're trying to bleach his skin and attack him because he was gay. He was gay and stuff like that. And so, yeah, in case you guys don't know, but you guys probably should know by this time. Yeah, so other than that, you know, it's very fucked up shit, but yeah, other than that, Beastie Boys, License to Ill, 1986. Also, this Sunday, me and Tribera, we are going to be reviewing Tony's final album, House of Music, released in 1996. So after the Super Bowl, I know because everyone's going to be watching the Super Bowl, so after the Super Bowl, 11:30. So stay tuned on that. And it's your boy Reg. Peace.